In America, we're now living in a very hypocritical society. I want to say that we're living under a two-tier justice system, which is true, but it goes further than that. Whites and blacks have two separate standards that we have to live up to. One example of this is Shiloh Hendrix. I think she ended up getting fined like $1,000 and a suspended 1-year sentence or something like that for saying a naughty word. In America, they charged her with disorderly conduct, I think. I don't know how they got away with charging her for that, because she most definitely wasn't disorderly. She wasn't loud. She wasn't screaming it. But yeah. Now, how many videos have you seen of black men and black women running around talking about cracker this, cracker that, among other things that they say about us, right? Nobody bats an eye about that. Nobody cares about that. But the second a white person even utters, you don't even have to say the dreaded N word, right? You could just criticize one of them, and you could lose your whole livelihood and potentially be locked up. It's insane that we're living this way. With that in mind, I got a story that I want to tell you that I'm kind of going through right now, that proves my point, and it goes a little bit further to show what this kind of society is leading us to, because we're living in a society where we care more about words and people's feelings, certain people's feelings, than we do actions. Here's an example of this. So I took on a job at a steel warehouse, but the place is about 75% black now, where it used to be when my buddy, started there years ago, it was almost 100% white. But it's about 75% black now, somewhere in there. Now, one of the things that I think is interesting that happened while I was there is I was getting off work and second shift was coming in, and there's two black guys that were coming in on second shift. These guys are loaders, right? And one of the first shift guys, Aaron, white guy, younger, we're getting off, but I'm actually walking up early, and I see these two black guys following him, cussing him out, calling him a cracker, white boy, all this shit, just cracker this, cracker that, all kinds of slurs, threatening him, and he's saying nothing. He's just walking away. Now, the story about this goes back a little bit further, right? But these guys, these two especially, but a lot of the other black guys there, had been constantly trying him and pushing him and being aggressive towards him, because Aaron is a white guy who's married to a black woman. And as much as black men want to talk about how much we hate them dating our women, which is true, don't let them fool you, because they don't like it when a white man gets with a black woman. Believe me, I've seen it. I witnessed it. So anyway, that's where this whole thing starts, right? So whatever happened that day, which kind of exploded, it was just them doing more of the same to him, because he's a white guy married to a black woman. But this ended up kind of becoming a big deal because it got back to the front office, because there's cameras everywhere and all that stuff. And, my buddy, who has similar views to my own, kind of pushed it a little bit, because he's like, hey, how can these guys get away with saying this kind of shit when if we said something like that, we'd be fired at the drop of a hat? And this isn't the only thing they've done. These guys have all been caught stealing time, which basically means they come in, let's say there's about 10 of them, 1 or 2 of them will stay while all the others leave, and they'll be clocked out by the guys that stay. Do you see what I'm saying? So like 10 guys come in, about a half hour later, 8 of them will leave, and the 2 that stay, they'll clock everybody out so that they're all getting their time, and they'll rotate doing this. And they've been caught doing this because there's cameras everywhere, right? They've also been caught smoking weed, among other things there. This is crucial. But they can't do anything, right? So this becomes a big ordeal where they had got into it and everything, because my buddy kind of pushed it like, hey, what is going on? They're threatening him. They're calling him all kinds of racial slurs, and they've been messing with him for a while. And how come nothing can be done about this? And the boss kind of looked at us and he's like, you know, this is a big corporation. So this is like one local facility out of, I don't know, dozens. And he's like, he kind of looks at us like, what do you want me to do? I can't do anything. When they caught him all smoking weed several times, riding the clock, stealing time, like I was just telling you, they can't fire him because it'll be a whole ordeal, right? So they tend to just let them fall off on their own, because they'll end up quitting, you know, or some other shit will happen to where they don't have to fire them and deal with potential lawsuits or anything that comes with it. Which is insanity, man. This is what I'm talking about. That's such a double standard for us and them. So anyway, Aaron, who didn't do anything that I saw, and nobody else seemed to allege that he did anything, he gets suspended for a couple days. And then one of the black guys gets suspended for 1 day. I don't even really think he got suspended for a whole day. I think it was like half a day, but whatever. So that was the extent of it. Total BS, total double standard. But that's how we live now, man. And it's really been this way for a long time, but it's just is becoming more pronounced because more of us are getting fed up with it and noticing it more. Now, on top of that, remember, like I said, these guys have been caught on camera smoking weed and other things. And we'd come in every day, right, for morning shift, and the break room would smell like grape, blunt, smell like weed, because they would all sit in that office for hours at night smoking weed all night long, right? And it stinks bad. And I'm not even somebody who minds the smell of weed or anything, but it's so strong in there, you can smell it all the way up front, which is a pretty good ways. And to the point where my buddy, because again, he's been there a while, he's got seniority, he had to start taping up notes like, hey, please stop smoking weed in here. Constantly smells like weed. Nobody cares. Nobody does anything about it. This is a big steel warehouse, right? Safety, I'm talking about, we're lifting up huge steel plates with overhead cranes. You've got huge machines that come in. We're running big torches, cutting like 4-inch thick steel plates, like 40-foot plates. This is a dangerous job. So dealing with people like this that are constantly high and stupid on top of it already is dangerous. Now, this ain't the only thing. During the 90 days that I was there as a temp hire, because you got to do 90 days, right? I had so many of them guys try to sell me weed, coke, crack, pills, constantly. I had one guy who smoked crack every day there. Every single day he'd smoke crack there because he would tell me about it. Because I would tell, he was a temp too. We kind of hit it off when I told him about how I used to be an addict years ago and stuff. And so anyway, he was constantly showing me his rocks that he had. One of them carried a backpack which always had weed and coke in it because he was selling to a lot of the guys there. He wasn't the only one, but he was the one that I had to work closest with, and he was newer than me. Newer than me. Within his first week there, he tried to sell me coke, right? Like, come on, man. So anyway, once my 90 days is up, it's time to be like, okay, time to get hired on full time here. I've been looking forward to this, busting my ass for it. I never missed a day. I worked every weekend they asked me to, and worked every bit of overtime they asked me to, and then some, right? Because I was constantly asking, hey, can I stay late? You want me to cut some more of this up? And they're like, yeah. My boss, my main supervisor or whatever, he was constantly talking about how good I worked. Within my first couple weeks there, he was like, man, I'm excited to get you on and hired here. We've been needing somebody here who can actually read a tape measure, who can run these machines, and who shows up every day. So he was excited to hire me. Well, I go, I fill out the full-time application, which is, just, a formality or whatever. I do that. I go down to take the drug test. Not a problem. I've been sober since 2013. Well, it comes back positive for marijuana. I'm like, what the hell? Well, I wasn't thinking. I had been taking CBD at night to help me sleep sometimes. I'm an idiot. I wasn't even thinking about that. So I tested positive for marijuana. My boss actually advocated for me so much. He's actually still working on trying to get this overturned or retested several weeks later, because that's how badly they need people and how badly they wanted to hire me full time there. So several weeks later, we're still trying to battle this thing to get me retested or the ability to reapply or whatever. Now, they had to let me go after a couple weeks. This is about 3 weeks ago. I worked there for 2 weeks while he's trying to figure it out. Finally, about a week ago, he's like, we got to let you go, basically, until we figure this out. So I want you to think about that. There's guys there right now, right then when he told me that were high out of their minds on weed, coke, crack, Adderall, and I'm sure many other things. But I gotta go. What? Why? Well, because we have reached a society where, because we live in this double standard where, oh, we can't hurt their feelings, and oh, I need to cover my ass and all this shit. Well, I was unable to check a box that said clean drug test, and they were, because they were. Doesn't matter that they're stoned as hell right now, very obviously, right? That's besides the point. What matters is, can we check this box that says you're not high or that you don't use drugs or whatever? Well, that's my own stupidity. I should have thought more clearly about it. But this kind of coddling, this kind of double standard that I'm talking about, and it exists in many different ways, but especially between blacks and whites, but men and women also. This sort of progressive, liberal world that we've created for ourselves, where it's more important to check a box than it is to actually do the right thing, right? I'm sober. Sober, one of the most sober people there, right? I don't do anything, and I haven't for a long time. A couple other people there are like that. A few other people there smoke a little bit of weed and whatever. That's fine. I don't care about that. But yeah, we live in a society now, because of this progressive crap that we've allowed to creep in, where me, one of the hardest workers there, and I'm not just saying that because it's me, I'm saying that because they all told me that several times. But they've got to let me go because I can't click that box that says I'm drug free. Meanwhile, this guy can come in, literally just snorted a line, hit a crack rock, stinking a weed, got it all on him right then, right there, clearly blasted out of his mind, but bought some piss from somebody or whatever, did whatever he did to pass the drug test. That's fine. Hey, go, yeah, you get out there and run that crane. Totally fine. Mostly the reason that's okay is because the people that are checking the boxes are in the office far, far away from the guy operating the crane. So they don't care, right? All they want to know is, can I cover my ass? Can I check this box? This is the kind of world we've created with this double standard. And it's made me super jaded, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely made me a lot more racist. Because this sort of double standard, it kills me, man. Look at, I needed benefits. I worked for it. I did everything I was supposed to do, except for the one thing that everybody else does, which is lie, cheat, and steal. That's what I should have done. I would have been fine if I'd done that. If I'd have just went to the Glass Eye or whatever and bought fake urine and used that on my drug test, this wouldn't be a problem. That's what they all do. And they can do whatever they want. They can snort rails as long as my arm up there. As long as they can click that box. That's how we're living now. And we wonder why the houses we build now are falling apart. We wonder why quality is suffering everywhere. We wonder why restaurants are run by incompetent idiots. We're hiring and promoting and coddling the worst of society just because they know how to skirt the system. So anyway, I don't know. It's kind of a rambling story, but it's irritating. And it's only going to get worse from here. We have to stop this, guys. We can't live like this. These things have to change. How long do you think we can operate in a country? Because we've already been doing it for quite a while. How long do you think we can live and operate and have a real society in a place that fires the hardworking, sober guy and promotes the lazy, low IQ drug addicts? And I don't even want to say drug addicts. We all know what I'm talking about, man. It's blacks. It's women in the workplace. It's all these things, man, that we've let creep in to society, and it's ruining everything. Why do you think if you go, let's just say a fast food place, they're all crap now. I eat fast food. Half the time I eat it, the fries aren't even cooked all the way, right? Calling up anybody in customer service is a nightmare if there's not a button that they can click. This, if I call them with a problem that's unique, that they haven't dealt with 100 times already that day, they don't know what to do. It's literally idiocracy that we're living in. If there's not a button with a picture on it that they can press, we're all totally lost, man. Society won't continue to function this way. It's really kind of surprising that it still is. I don't really understand it. I see all these trucks going by on the interstate here, and I know that a good majority of them are being driven by really dumb people. Non-American, non-white people, man. And we're letting it happen. And I guess we're just going to keep going until this thing jumps off a cliff and crashes and burns. I don't know how much longer we got, guys. We got to do something. We've got to wake up and fix this.